I set a screw into the end of the dock, I think 6 inches out. This is about the most that an unsupported board like this can take. So you can see where the screw line is, and only 6 inches overhanging. The same thing on that side. So I set a screw there. I measured. I drew a chalk line, snapped the chalk line, cut these, cut those, and this is finished. Oh, plus I put in one screw here, 2 in the center, 1 screw here, 2 on the outside, 2 on the outside. So this piece of the dock is finished, except that I think I'd like to take the sharp edge off of here and then seal the ends of these, but I'm going to do that with a router. I'll do that later. In the meantime, I took 12 foot planks and I cut them into 3 foot lengths on a chop saw. I laid them out here yesterday. There's a little bit of overhang here, but this is what I'm going to do today to even up. You can see the edge here. I didn't do a very good job, and plus a 12 foot piece is actually about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch longer than 12 feet. They give you that, so that some of these are a little bit longer, the 4th piece. So I get 4 pieces out of a 12 foot piece, and I just chopped them up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set a screw at the end there and the end here at some distance, do the same thing down here, snap a chalk line and cut it, and then this will be done also. I chose this because it's high tide now, and anything that drops into the water is easier to get out. And I'm going to see these, the pieces were this long, so as the saw was going by I could grab them and keep them from falling in the water. I missed a couple and I had to go and retrieve them, but these are going to be shorter, you know, maybe this long, give or take. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to take a couple of screws, just like on the other one. I space these out by using a carpenter's pencil. I stuck the pencil in between. It's about 1/4 of an inch, and I did that all the way down. That gives some room for expansion and contraction. I just wanted to see what this looks like here. So I have like 4 inches there, 3 inches here. If I cut like 2.5, will that give me what I need? That's 3. Yeah, so I'm going to have little pieces, so 2.5 maybe. There's 4, and this side I got 4.5, 4.5. 4 3/4, 4 4.5, 4.5. Okay, so they don't have to be equal, but I'll make this 2.5, and maybe this let's see, maybe I'll make this 3. Let's just go down and check the other end to make sure before I cut everything. If I got a little bit off, I mean, everything here appears to be pretty straight. You can see the lengths relative to the things. Oh, plus when I was spacing and I got out to the end here, I was going to have a piece this long. So what I ended up doing is from about here, these spaces are just a little tiny bit, maybe 1/8 of an inch longer, which would space this to be end right where it is. So I have the same 1/4 inch spacing down here, and these are just a tiny bit wider. So I have the same thing here, 3.5, 4, 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. So I'm going to do maybe 3 inches all the way down. 3 inches on that side. Maybe I'll do 3 inches on both sides. That'll take care of it. These will be, this is 3 inches, and then that'll be equal. 3 inches. Okay. All right. So let's. I'm going to set the screws at 3 inches, and then I'm going to drag the chalk line and see where it lines up. Okay. So here's my. Whoops. Here's my 3 inches right here. I'm putting this in the end. I'm putting this in the end just so that there's not an extra hole on top. There's a little tiny hole here on the end. And there's 3 inches right here. Okay. It's a beautiful morning. This is last weekend was daylight savings time, or standard. We're going back to standard time, and it's I don't know, it's just about 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, and here is 3 inches here. This tape has gotten completely shitty from being in the salt water from this job, which is, I suppose, okay, but okay, so there's my 3 inches. There and there. This is a chalk line. It has a little door here. You buy chalk in a container, you fill it up, which this is full. I filled it before, and it gets the string full of chalk as you pull it out. All right, so I'm just sliding it over the end of my screw. You pull it tight. Like that. I don't like that, because as you look at some of these, are going to be short, so I'm going to change this. See, this is like right at the bitter end, so I'm going to bring that in another, which is the worst one here. You can see here, it's 3 inches. 3 inches. I'll bring it in like another 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, see, I could have biased these all over just a little bit. Oh, well. Okay, there's 3/4 of an inch. Okay. There's 3/4 of an inch. And that looks like we've got it. Yeah, see, it takes care of all those. With the main dock, when I was cutting the main dock, I could grab the ends of the wood. These are going to be too short. I think it's actually too close to the blade and dangerous. So I'm going to have to let these fall in the water. One of the reasons that I chose now is this is the changing of the tide. You can see we're at the zenith. So the water is at high tide. We're going to start going back again, but you're going to see stuff doesn't move much now versus when it's in transition, the water flows a lot. So whatever falls, I'll be able to catch. And I did that with the rake if I can't reach them. This is also up high. So, so what I'm going to do now is set this down a little lower. Those are underneath. Oof. Not worried if onesies or twosies get away, but to leave all your debris in the river is just not right. Plus, this stuff, these won't hurt a boat, but nobody's happy about running into them when you're boating. You can see that these are also real short versus the other ones, which were 3 or 4 inches long when I cut these. All right. Okay. Oof. Oop. One at a time, boys. Climb aboard. Oh, come on. I feel like I'm at the county fair. This is the game. See how many you can get. You got the Cupid doll. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so got to finish this one up here. You can see the nice straight edge. And now we'll do the other one. All right. This is a router. This is my router. Believe it or not, this router is my mother bought for me as a graduation present from high school. Like a million years ago. So, and it still works great. I didn't lose any of the tools for it. The light doesn't work anymore, but I never really use it. I even have the guide that goes in here, but you don't need that for what I'm going to do, and I'll show you that in a second. This is the arbor lock that keeps the spindle from rotating while you're trying to, there, while you're trying to undo the collet. Okay. We need to loosen up. The collet is undone, but the nut is undone that tightens up the collet. Unfortunately, what generally happens is the oh no, it's coming right out. Okay, good. And we're going to take, now you want it when you the collet is in here, and as you tighten the nut, it clamps down on the arbor. But you want to get these in as close as you can so that you don't have any springiness to them. And this thing rotates at ridiculous speed, like 18,000 RPM or something. Okay, so you want to get that in as close to the spindle as you can, and you just lock it in. You have the lock over here holding the spindle, and you lock this in this way. Oops, okay. Then you can see, you loosen this up, and you bring the motor and the whole mechanism relative to the platen here. You bring that up so that you have just the edges of those blades are equal to your, the closer the better, and then you lock that in. All right, we're going to try this and see how it works. We'll just do a little piece somewhere. Whoops, I need those glasses again. And see how it looks. Oof. Looks pretty good, actually. See, it just relieves that sharp edge. I could maybe raise that up just a tidge. There's a difference in height here by, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch maybe. I should raise these boards up. Well, this is the final day. It's actually complete. So what I did is, when you have a variation in the height of, the ends, and I mean even a little bit, the router is a little bit off. So I took a palm sander and I just hit the high edges wherever it looked kind of funky. This wood is still green. That is, it comes out of the whatever they do to treat it with the chemicals, the pressure treating, and they put it on pallets and they ship it. So anyway, it lays out here for a while, and the moisture gets removed from the wood, and it seasons a little bit. Also, that's why the spaces between these things changes a little bit, and so on and so forth, if the wood shrinks. And once it sits here for a while, then I'll come back with like Thompson's water seal or some sort of a preservative to protect it, make it last a little bit longer, and also to make it look more uniform. And you maybe do that once a year, once every other year. But all the edges have been routed. They've been cut for their length. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do about a ladder, and I'm going to plan on putting together a floating dock. I was talking to my neighbor, and I was admiring his dock. He stopped over this morning just to slap me on the back and say, "Hey, nice job." I'm ecstatic, honestly. I mean, I'm going to put together, I think, maybe a final slide on what the costs were involved in doing this whole thing. And it was done on a shoestring, really, if you consider the fact that all of these screws that I used to redeck it with, these were all from the old dock. So they're stainless screws, but I reused most of them. I mean, I used them for other things also, for mounting brackets and so on and so forth, but there were the way that they had put down the screws in the other ones. I actually have, I don't know, maybe 100 screws left over, maybe not that many, but like I said, on a shoestring. So, because like 100 screws are $20, and there's thousands of them. I mean, there's like 300 screws, well, at least 200 and some odd screws holding this deck to the the decking to the rafters, and over here there's even more. So, I mean, hundreds of them. So there's, hundreds of dollars worth of screws. I did buy the 3-inchers to put together, sister rafters together and stuff like that, because you can't make it through. Two screws together are 3 inches. I mean, 2 rafters together are 3 inches thick. I still have to do a bunch of cleanup and stuff like that, like this, where I have, cement flaking off of things, and I'll probably get in my little boat and go around with a green scrubby and scrub all the cement residue off the outside of the snap jacket so that they look right. But this is the final job, and I think it's pretty spectacular, especially considering how much work went into doing it. And of course, your people on YouTube are a testament to it, because I recorded most of the whole thing. So anyway, I'm really excited. This is great. The next project is going to be, I bought a lift from a guy, thinking that I was going to put that in last year, but of course that didn't happen, and of course the deck started falling apart, so that became priority. But I have that, and that's the next project, is to put the lift in here so that I don't have to have my boat sitting up on a trailer in the yard, and I can just drop it into the water and go whenever I want, you know. Also, I'd like to see that little boat over there. I'd love to own that boat. And I've lived here now 3 years, and I've never seen that little boat move, ever. So, I don't know, maybe I'll talk to the woman who owns the house. Maybe she'd be interested in selling it, I don't know. For the right price, obviously. I'm not a rich guy. All right, so that's it.